So if you've been struggling with insomnia for a while, you've probably heard about the strategy where you're supposed to get out of bed at the same time every day to really strengthen our circadian rhythm, make sure that our internal clock knows that this is my time to wake up and this is my time to go to bed, as well as to build up additional appetite or pressure for sleep by making sure that even on poor nights, you're still getting up at the same time so that your body gets hungrier and hungrier and hungrier for sleep every night so that you can really break the insomnia trap and get yourself back on track. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the strategies that might be helpful for you to make sure that you can get out of bed at the same time. Because, especially when we had a poor night or we finally got some sleep, like it can be really hard to get out of bed. So in this video, I'll talk about some of the strategies that I commonly use with patients that have been pretty successful for them. So hopefully it's helpful for you too. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Dr. Parky. I'm a clinical psychologist and behavioral sleep medicine specialist. I provide evidence-based, non-pharmacological, so no medication treatments for chronic insomnia. And I'm also the author of The Insomnia Paradox, which is a self-help book for providing the tools, CBTI tools specifically, when it comes to treating your own unique sleep problem. So when I'm helping patients to get out of bed at the same time every day, I usually like to start with the question, as a temperature check, 0 to 10, how likely do you think you are to follow this recommendation of getting out of bed at the same time every day, even after a bad night? And the number I'm usually looking for is at least kind of an 8 on 10 in terms of confidence, where I'm like, okay, like I feel pretty confident that this person is likely to do so. And if it's lower than 8, like it's a 5 on 10, I'm not really sure, like I don't think I can do it, then I usually ask the follow-up question, what do you think might get in the way? And you might kind of hear a lot of different possibilities, like I think I'll just feel too sleepy, I might be too nervous, like what if, I feel really horrible during the day, what if, I can't hear my alarm or I just close it subconsciously and I just kind of sleep in. Like, I don't know. Like, there's could be a lot of different possibilities. And I think this is really valuable data because then it allows us to get into the heart of what could be the issue that we need to address in order for this person to feel more confident that they are actually able to get up at the same time. So I'll start by talking about some of the different possibilities that I find very helpful with my patients. For the patients who think, I'm not going to be able to hear it or I'm just going to unconsciously close it, this can be sort of done and dealt with by a problem-solving approach of saying, okay, like, is there a way that we can make this alarm much louder so it's like super obnoxious and will definitely wake you up? And can we also put it a little bit further away? So actually have a little alarm right here. This is a, fun little alarm that actually starts rolling the second that, it starts to ring so that I actually have to chase it to be able to turn it off. And that can be a great way to get yourself active and make sure that you don't just like slam the alarm, shut it off and then go back to sleep. A second strategy is to make sure that the morning is as painless as possible. So oftentimes people have come in with these like great plans of, yeah, I'm gonna wake up at 6 and then I'm gonna, go on my jog and then I'm gonna talk to my friends and then, do a bunch of work. It's gonna be super productive. And the moment they actually have to wake up at 6 and they're like, holy crap, I'm feeling so tired, then everything goes out the window and it becomes like a all or nothing approach where I might as well just go back to bed. So one thing that can be helpful to create a little bit more, wiggle room in between is to say, well, let's say you wake up at 6, you don't have to necessarily get your day completely started. Is there a way that you can bring your blanket and just go to the couch and be kind of chill over there? Is there a way to kind of make sure that the morning is really comfortable where you're just playing with your animals and petting your dog, for example? How can we make sure that the 6 a.m. wake up time isn't like this torture chamber, but rather something that can be something to help ease you into the day, where you get the benefits of waking up at the same time without actually making it the most painful experience of your life? And for some people, having a social commitment can be helpful. Like, they might not be able to go to the gym or do something themselves, but if they know that their friend is going to be at the gym or they have breakfast with somebody, then that's going to be really helpful to make sure that they have some sort of incentive to get up beyond themselves. Alongside more behavioral considerations, there are some cognitions or ways of thinking that can also impact our adherence or willingness to wake up at the same time every day. So oftentimes when I'm working with patients, I really want to make sure that the patient understands really, really well the sleep science so that they can understand and say, oh, like it makes sense that I'm supposed to wake up at this time every day. And, that is why it's actually helpful for me from a long-term perspective. And I really want to get rid of my insomnia. So I should kind of try out these strategies, as a way to test whether this can be helpful to make sure I'm reaching my goals. So understand the sleep science of saying, what would happen if I were to sleep in? What would happen if I were to, wait until 8 or 9 to get out of bed from a circadian perspective, from a sleep drive perspective, from a sort of insomnia maintenance perspective? All those things can help the person understand, okay, like I'm willing to sacrifice a few chess pieces, so to speak, and wake up at the same time, knowing that it's not a long-term thing. I don't have to now wake up at 6 a.m. for the rest of my life in perpetuity. It's really just for this period of time to really reset and re-regulate my sleep systems, reduce my sleep anxiety, increase my sleep confidence, and beat my insomnia. And then after that, I can kind of do whatever I want. But for now, this is what is going to be most beneficial in leveraging my sleep regulation systems in order for the goal of better sleep. So after thinking a little bit about some of these strategies and what could work well for you in terms of the alarm clock, in terms of making the morning a little bit more comfortable and enjoyable, targeting some of these cognitions, you might then revisit the question, well, now how likely am I to actually succeed? And if you're at least a 7 on 10, I would say, that's a very reasonable number. If you're still like, it's like a 5 or 6, it's a coin flip, then you might answer the question like, what would it take for me to be at a 7? What would it take for me to be at an 8? And as you answer that question, you might then be able to pull from different problems that you might particularly deal with in order to provide a unique solution to yourself. So hopefully that was helpful for you to wake up, think about waking up at the same time. If that is a goal of yours, certainly if you're somebody who doesn't deal with insomnia or you don't really want to touch that right now, it's totally cool for you to sleep in. It's totally cool for you to spend some time in the morning and, snuggle with your spouse. Like all of that is totally fine. This is just something that can be helpful for the people who are interested in more sort of behavioral strategies to support the defeat or vanquishing of insomnia so that they can get some better nights ahead. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.